Welcome to your Mercury and Gemini transit talk. This is the Peace Dealer, and I hope you gain wonderful insight from this report. Mercury, of course, is the first planet from the sun and travels significantly quicker than any other of the personal or impersonal planets. And it will be transiting through Gemini, which is the individual mutable sign and the third out of all the 12 signs. Mercury is also in its dignity in Gemini, which will give this transit both a unique and exemplary flavor. So, given the mutable nature of Gemini, this is going to allow Mercury in this sign to play with multiple perspectives and be willing to change thought process to adapt to the current experience in the given moment, enabling you to process with your brain the duality of the experience you are participating in as well. The individual nature of the sign enables you to process your individual thoughts through this portal of communicating and with magic, putting into words the magic of communication, I think. And this transit will be lasting through the 3rd of June to the 16th of June, 2024. Mercury in Gemini, of course, once again being in its dignity and moving very quickly, will make for a very eventful, as what it seems, 2-week transit, and will, relative to its transit in Aries and Taurus, pick up the speed of your processing as the sun catches up to your conscious awareness, being enlightened in Gemini. And this will most definitely put you in a position to communicate much more poignantly the ideas you are getting ready to activate, which will be integrated socially moving forward. The relevant transits that we are going to have during this transit definitely express the travel of these planets through Gemini and its connection with Pisces and Aries. We start off this transit with the direct conjunction to Jupiter. This will, coming into the 2nd decan, sextile the North Node in Aries. And then shortly after, square Saturn in Pisces. This leads to the conjunction of the sun. And we end off this transit with the conjunction to Venus. That being said, the conjunction to Jupiter in Gemini is making a trine to Pluto in Aquarius, a 121-degree trine at that. And this is one of the most important transits in this Mercury Gemini portal due to the initiation of this once a year cycle where your brain literally and figuratively has a firmware update and expands the nature of your thinking and brain processing. If you've ever updated your phone, which has a processor on it, if you've ever updated your computer, which has a processor on it, think of this as that yearly update. And the last two yearly updates we had were in Aries and Taurus, respectively. So we expanded the power with which your processor functions. And then now, with that enhanced power, you enhance the quality of your brain processing. And now that we've enhanced the power and quality of your brain processing, with which we've done 12 years ago, relative to older cycles, now you're getting ready to activate the brilliance of your brain processing, the enlightenment of your brain processing relative to 2 years of adding its power and quality. So let's use an example. Let's assume that those last 2 years, you took your processing unit and you added the amount of RAM that your processor can run from. And then you added so much more gigabytes and terabytes of memory to it. Compared to the old brain processor, experiences that you had may not have been able to capture the awareness that you experience on your screen. But once you add the RAM, once you add the memory, now you're able to play more complex programs that can run more efficiently on that processor. You're able to open up more tabs. Your brain is able to literally think about more things at once, to log more memory. And what makes this very exciting is the experience with Mercury and its dignity that's going to help you put these experiences into words. I just want to kind of make it clear how, if you're updating your RAM, this is the first time you're experiencing the nature of what you've increased the quality of. So we're activating this cycle here, and the supernatural quality awakening with Pluto and Aquarius is now adding to the talent and to the creativity of how much more intensely and expansive throughout the rest of the year you will activate and integrate this quite literal evolution of the brain. All right, with Venus went through, the sun went through, and now it's our brain wrapping our minds around how dope this is getting ready to be. This leads to the opening sextile with the North Node and subsequently Chiron. And this aligns your brain, which is functioning at a much more accelerated and intelligent or smart level, all right, grasping the syntax of the vocabulary and conjugation you want to speak while your vocabulary is actively expanding. This, tied to the individual mission your North Node is unlocking, is providing the perspective necessary for you to communicate, think, and actually experiment with what you're meant to do, quite literally. If you moved in the direction, you have an idea about it now. And because this is opening this doorway over the next 30 degrees from then, this is where you're going to experience magic. You are going to quite literally define what it is you are intending and are experiencing. Mercury, in its representation of the magician with the sun of will, has a lot to do with intention. And given that you've expanded your component processing brain unit in order to think smarter than you've ever thought ever in your life, this is going to be pretty fun. And the opening square to Saturn at the end of the second decan is going to break through the ground the seeds that Mercury conjunct Saturn had initially made, tying your brain around the beliefs with which you will add more authority and align more integrity towards what you believe and why you believe what you believe, wrapping your brain around your beliefs and signing this contract that you do once a year, because Mercury takes less than a year to go through the zodiac or to revolve around the sun. This is, of course, going to, in Gemini, wrap your ideas around the beliefs over the past few months you activated and begin to integrate the true experience of what these metaphysical, unseen aspects that were just beliefs are becoming true. This is important because Venus and the sun already did this. Like, you've already kind of broken through your heart and awareness, and now your brain is processing the thoughts around what this actually is in order to communicate, in order to tie your intentions towards your belief. And this is going to open up a causality of you experiencing more the effect, cause effect of your words as a magic wand and what happens. All right. For those of you building Noah's Ark through the Saturn and Pisces, we're still in that period where we're riding through before Saturn ends next year and we land on Earth. But this is where you're coming into more insight around, where we're going, what we're even doing. And the conjunction with the sun shortly after, a couple days later, now aligns your brain with your conscious. This is you previously, a few months ago, sending the bird to now move behind territory you've just crossed. Hey, go back and check everything I was aware of. It's reevaluating your brain. And then once it came back and it's meeting with you, now the bird is giving you an update of the information you've reevaluated. And you're sending this bird ahead of you. All right. And this bird, when it retrogrades, will come back and give you word on what you are getting ready to be aware of. Hey, when you sent me forward there, I saw there were these creatures on shore. Be mindful of that when you go, right? So now that we're activating this moving forward, your brain is getting ready to process information ahead of what you're going to be conscious of. In the zodiac sign of enlightenment, so this is the most significant Sun-Mercury conjunction in the year, square Saturn and Neptune. The next one I would say would be in Virgo. But this is definitely very, very, very lit because this is an epiphany right here. At 24 degrees semi-sextile Uranus, it's going to innovate the way you not only think forever, but activate realizations that will tie everything together. And this is going to also activate a new yearly cycle of your capability to use your mind and word as a magic wand. So be very mindful of the intentions you're making during this period. That being said, we end this transit off with Mercury on Venus, which is very self-explanatory, making an opening square to Neptune, wrapping your brain and heart around the final element of truth and realization that square Neptune will also bring elements of your fantasy into reality through your direct experience that, based on this experience, will influence what you think. When you're literally starting to see what you believed months prior actually begin to happen, circumstances actually come in together, synchronicities aligning, this is going to really train your vocabulary of how to, of course, begin integrating through consistency that will be finalized in Virgo, this magic. And that leads us to Final Fantasy arc. We talked about this in the Venus and Gemini transit talk. If you have checked that out, this is the brain transcendence, series with Mercury involving the Neptune Pisces series, March 8th to January 6th of 2024. And of course, this represents with Mercury's cycle of Neptune at the final degrees, the complete transcendence of your brain, integrating and aligning with an imagination that's reached its peak. So 2012, where you were just beginning to awaken the supernatural and metaphysical potential of your imagination, it's like, being a artist and you just started learning how to draw. And now at 2024, you've mastered your ability to draw. You're able to get all the reflections and shades. You have a world's worth of experience. So the way you think now that you are a master artist and painter is going to be different when you were just starting painting and you were thinking like a beginner. Now you think it like an expert. This is transcending your brain's critical function to make up for the fact that it cannot perceive beyond the physical. And it's going to now take this enhancement of your imagination and transcend physical properties of your brain. So the opening square, if you don't believe this, by the way, don't take my word for it. June 16th of 2024 at 29 degrees, you will never think the same way again. Ever. Ever. And you can say that about literally every day. You improve your thinking all the time and everything. But this is going to be a hallmark period that will quite literally take at this maximum level the full true understanding of your brain and heart processing ability and desires, which will lead to a massive disillusionment of your mindset while you're going through the direct experience of seeing and experiencing it change. And it will integrate a new thinking ability that enhances your magic infinity fold. This will help you understand enlightened thought process, enlightened meaning that there is light shedding to uplift you out of an old way of thinking, which in that old way of thinking created darkness, hence enlightening your brain. The integration leads to the harvest when Mercury is in Virgo, and the analysis of Virgo is going to now take the true ideas that you began to integrate and produce receipts for all of them. So by the time we're here, what you are dreaming is real. You have analyzed the elements of your beliefs and have fully integrated how socially you can experience them for real. Your beliefs are now a habit. I believe I can be a ski diver. Well, now you have integrated ski diving into your habits and routine. You do it every other Thursday. And this is hyper accelerated. This is a 6-month arc, and this is actually really quick. So Virgo is going to bring mastery of your brain's critical mind, wrapping around this new cycle of new beliefs and fantasies and supernatural experiences that through Gemini help you understand the vocabulary of, and through Virgo make it not a fantasy anymore. You can actually critically express and explain to detail how this is not just a belief, it's a reality. Boom, exalted reality check, which opens you up to adjust anything you're currently thinking if you're actually just delusional AF. So with that being said, this will complete this through the vision. Now that we've made it real through Virgo, we're seeing into the meaning of, we're interpreting that analysis. And this is the realization of your brain's vision that you activated during this final cycle. We will never get another cycle like this ever again. That's it. That's it. You can waste this. If you allow society around you to really work against this reconditioning of you unlearning bullshit you've been taught your whole life, excuse my language, this can be completely wasted if you would rather listen to other people who are threatened by these new thoughts and beliefs versus really creating these new neural pathways. So you're going to see into your destiny with that trine to the nodes, getting ready to go into Pisces. And this is going to realize your brain's vision once again, especially square, closing square, Neptune, that's helping you see into the meaning of what you previously believed before, so that you can maintain or adjust if necessary. And that being said, that makes the enlightened epiphanies arc. Okay, epiphanies with the Sun Mercury conjunction. This is going to enable you to establish your brain's true perception in aligning and in true clarity what is what, and dispelling any illusions or, false beliefs you might have entertained or created. This will update your mindset and vocabulary and use words that reflect your true intentions. This will enable you to really express ideas that come from the core of you and are more aligned with you, things that you may not have been able to put into words. And my favorite part, you will be activating new magic spells, integrating all of these new mindsets, and being able to directly demonstrate capability that you may have been told you can never do. This will enable you to integrate causality between thoughts and their effects, since, your word is your magic wand. Aries. Mercury is going to be in your third house as a rising sign, and it will be 60 to 90 degrees from your sun and moon. This is going to wrap your brain around inventive ways to activate mindsets and attitudes you can freely express and communicate, especially if you have been at a loss for words. As recently you've been aware of what you want to communicate, this Mercury transit will color in the words that align directly with who you are and how much you have grown. It's also very important to reflect that this will also sharpen and shapen up the resiliency of how skilled you will continue to be, especially with that conjunction of Jupiter that will wrap your brain around this evolution of your skills and abilities. So, given that the third house is the house of immediate environment and neighborhood, and lingo, as a result, you can actually gain and fare very well by taking a word of mouth approach and making new friends in your community, deliberately going out into your neighborhood and talking to people, talking to new people, and spreading your ideas. This will magnificently master this new chapter, which will take your attitude and have you express the dignity of a golden mind and a golden mindset. Taurus. Gemini is going to be aspecting your second house as a Taurus rising. 30 to 60 degrees from your Taurus sun and moon. This transit is going to really wrap your brain around the truth of what you're worth and provide and manifest very inventive ideas that you could quite literally use to manifest. And when I say manifest, I really mean materialize anything into the physical with just your words and your thoughts and ideas. As an earth sign that vibrates the slowest out of any other sign, which makes you the most solid and grounded, these facets of thinking might be unrealistic to you. If anything, fake and just possibly fraudulent. However, with Uranus in your sign, it's been innovating the genius with which you can express. And as the square to your 11th house will facilitate, it will change the perception of how valuable each and every thought you have is, and return and reinforce your words being gold. As this gives you the brilliant recognition towards not only how much more amazing you could communicate what it is you're worth, it'll allow you to experiment with your value and apply these ideas to sow seeds which will add so much wealth to you moving forward, especially as we end the transit with it conjuncting Venus, your ruling planet, at the final degree. Gemini. Mercury is going to be transiting your first house of identity and be making a 0 to 30 aspect from your sun and moon, which is going to activate the true awareness and understanding of who you are, wrapping your brain around communicating and thinking as you are. This is 100% putting you in a position to also accept, through aligning your brain towards this realization of your angelic and celestial nature. The Pluto trine to your ninth house, or 240 to 270 degrees to your sun and moon, will reinforce how your philosophy is awakening in more advanced means, in order to really not only think like an angel, but to deliver messages coming into such an extraordinary awakening and higher knowledge of what it all means. This is almost going to serve as a reintroduction to yourself, and relative to 12 years of evolution, how you reflect this growth moving forward. Be in a position to freely communicate everything you think and intend to be, and watch the magic reflect in the effect you express through the word that you are. Cancer, Mercury is going to be in your 12th house as a Cancer rising. This will be making a 330 to 360 degree angle to your sun and moon. This, while it may be very misunderstood, will help end the chapter of an old way of thinking when it comes to subconsciously processing your beliefs and unconscious habits. In contrast to Sagittarius of your 6th house of lifestyle, Sagittarius of creation, with which through your vision or third eye, you create the life you want to live. And it also represents the ascended nature of your behavior, the higher perspective you apply in your behavior, which adds to the passionate nature of your work or work ethic. But in relation to Gemini in your 12th, can really, as a psychic power, as an empathic cardinal, really just amount to a lot of overthinking and getting trapped in your own thoughts and letting your own thoughts self-sabotage you. Mercury enables you to upgrade the vocabulary around how you think even when you're not thinking, bringing greater awareness to hidden thoughts that directly hold you back, but open you up in order to express supernatural potential. We also want to now, in taking this to a supernatural level, speak about how this gives you greater faith to surrender to the angelic realm and your connection with angels. Mercury is going to enable you to communicate directly with angels and to see the causality and effect of what happens when, whether you call on the name of an angel or just the concept of gaining messages and really directing thought forms and angles. This will actually serve to transcend an old way you believed in your own magic ability of thinking, which will enhance your status or power. Psychic power. Psychic meaning your ability to discern phenomena that is metaphysical through your imagination, fueled by emotion. This is all powered by thoughts, psyche, the power of thoughts. So this is really going to be a great way to learn how to get out your own way as you really conclude the previous 12-year chapters since like 2013, and get ready to change your entire life by releasing outdated thoughts that no longer apply, and also provide closure. Leo, Mercury is 11th house from your rising, and also 300 to 330 degrees from your sun and moon. This is going to wrap your brain around who your true friends are and where you truly belong. Really great for public relations and getting the word out, especially through people in your corner who can get the word out with you. This is the group chat. This is the group chat. And Mercury coming through here is going to spice up the group chat. It's also going to really create buzz relative to your social circle. And with Jupiter expanding this over the rest of the year, going into next year, this is evolving your vocabulary around who you trust with information, as this is squaring your eighth house of trust with Saturn, still testing your boundaries. But it's also going to provide new information, most likely from likely allies in your corner. This is important because if you now go to any of your true friends, you're going to literally experience brilliant communication coming from you and from them. Now, it's literally like a hack. This is the best time to spread a message through an existing or new social circle. And given that this is the results of your 10th house quality in Taurus and career, this is also going to help you communicate towards those necessary, towards everyone, and towards yourself, what specifically the experience of these accomplishments are. Regardless, given the individual nature of Gemini, any effort you put to communicate individually and bring people up to speed with what you're getting ready to move forward with is not only going to be a win, but sow the seeds for this luck with Jupiter and Venus that will polish this. You definitely have a lot to look forward to here. Welcome, Virgo. Mercury will be aspecting your 10th house as a Virgo rising and be making a 270 to 300 degree angle to your sun and moon. This is going to bring to a completion the harvest of the work you've put in applying the beliefs of your relationships with others into true success. Congratulations, Virgo. Jupiter is getting ready to expand and evolve the experience of success through your career and your ability to expand how much you get your word and message out there individually, might I add, as a master and critic. But I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you. This is ridiculous success that is going to, when Uranus comes in to play 2 years from now, even automate and innovate even further. So you're getting ready to not only see an expansion of this, but to communicate the effects of this success. Similar to someone who's been working 9 years towards building a business, and now, of course, on that ninth year, you're communicating like, yeah, my business is still sustaining and it's moving forward. But that 10th year, your business got bought out for $200 million. And now the way you're talking is, oh yeah, I don't have to work anymore. Like you're expanding the vocabulary around this consciousness of the results of your work, your ideas around it, the associates, the experiences that will enable you to also experience more as well. Venus is going to open up very great opportunities. It's a great time to also put your word out there with Venus. That's going to bring a lot of polishing and beauty and favorable experiences just through the activation of this. So yeah, this is definitely one of the better transits for you. And you want to proactively, of course, get your ideas out there. They will be heard. Libra! Mercury is going to be transiting your 9th house as a Libra rising. And it will be making a 240 to 270 degree angle to your sun and moon. This is going to put words to the actively evolving philosophical approach relative to how you show others the meaning of truth, relative to the stories as an artist you are able to paint, and the sharp focus and expanded upgraded vocabulary that will enable you to teach and show people the true meaning and clarity that represents you as a figure of balance and artist more powerfully and more brilliantly than ever. This also enables you to update your vocab around higher topics you're learning and the fine-tuning of what new brilliant ideas will apply when you direct this into your 10th house of career and results. Given the mutable nature of Gemini and mercurial nature of Mercury and Gemini, the inventive evolution of concepts that used to be an aspect of your philosophy will open up so much more expanded space and room to explore what more you can eventually learn the meaning of, as this will come back around to Sagittarius later in the year. It's trine to Pluto at the beginning of this transit will also add a supernatural and advanced level of creativity with which you can begin to stencil and create the program and initial draft for what will become an entire evolution and innovation of what you believe and how it is you practice what you preach. Scorpio, Mercury will be aspecting your 8th house as a Scorpio rising. It will also be making a 210 to 240 degree angle to your sun and moon. And this is going to, of course, facilitate transformations in the way you not only perceive your trust and also value with others and shared with others, but also communicate and update the boundaries that can be triggered by what others say relative to who values your vision or lacks value in your vision. This really is also going to enable to communicate investments of ideas and investments that you have in others' ideas. But what this will definitely also do as a application of the results of the quality of your partnerships in the 7th house that's currently innovating with Uranus is in application produce the experience that, once again, due to the 8th house, with which is your affinity, will wrap your brain around the active, present, progressive transformation of how it is you connect and communicate with other people and through other people. This definitely aids in gaining information about current investments and seeing into the true minds and thoughts with others who you want to connect so much more deeply, intimately with. The 8th house with this psychological nuance will, through Mercury, maybe beyond other people's awareness of understanding, reveal nuances in what people say, which will give you so much more incredulous insight into who they are and whether you can trust them or not than ever before. Sagittarius, Mercury is going to be in your 7th house as a Sagittarius rising, and it will be 180 degrees to 210 degrees from your sun and moon. The harvest of this brain processing unit relative to transits from Sagittarius, which activated 6 months ago with the sun, and as it went through your 1st house with Mercury, are now going to take this meaning and vision of yourself and apply it towards the true communication of the meaning of this vision towards other people, or just roasting other people directly and having the right words to completely embroil, slow, or quick roast them. This will open up very powerful enlightenment in being able to express yourself truly towards others, which will naturally, if not truly, open up more in your connections with other people and expand the vocabulary with your ruling planet of how much more you can say and come into clarity with other people. Given that this is the ruling planet and its dignity, it really opens up a lot of benefit for you to communicate with people you've been wanting to speak to, take in the effort to reach out to people, existing people in your life, new people who come into your life. This will really create epiphanies relative to not only how you're integrating more strengthened habits towards how you begin to harvest this, but to directly experience this change of your relationships as this challenges the authority with Saturn in your fourth you are building within in your own divine home space. Welcome, Capricorn. Mercury is going to be aspecting your sixth house as a Capricorn rising. It will also be making a 150 to 180 degree angle to your sun and moon. This will integrate the enlightened nature of your mindset, which will do wonders in producing new behavioral patterns with the new moon. Mercury will wrap your brain around how specifically you think about everything that constitutes your daily routine and how to make obsolete old behavioral patterns and replace them with new, inventive, and brilliant ideas in order to make more efficient how it is you work your job or create your lifestyle. Jupiter over the next year will quintessentially be actively evolving your lifestyle, bringing it to the next level. And this will, as Jupiter conjuncts Mercury, expand your mindset and brain around how specifically to do this. This is everything that you will be integrating into your seventh house and applying this perspective with other people and what you feel and how you feel with other people in Cancer. And so allow your brain to not only change, as the challenge of the square to the third house in Pisces will make sure you are aligning with the integrity of the attitude and mindset of your beliefs, so that everything you're believing you can achieve, you are thinking about how specifically you integrate into your lifestyle, and you don't let it just be a belief. This is a really great period to review lifestyle regimens, exercises, routines, and it will also enable you to influence other people's behavior by how directly you can speak towards others relative to the truth of what they live. Something that relative to the truth of how you live will be made abundantly clear relative to how well they can balance their behavior with yours. Aquarius, Mercury is going to be transiting your fifth house as an Aqua rising and be making a 120 to 150 degree angle from your Aqua sun and or moon. This will stimulate a brilliant level of creativity and give you more to talk about, which directly connects you to your inner child and can also represent insight from children or the inner children of others in your life. The level of creativity and talent you used to have is a thing of the past as you are stepping into the evolution of these talents and wrapping your brain around an expanded vocabulary and a whole host of insight and experience to add so much more to your creativity. This will align with the integrity of the belief you have over your worth and value, so that it can reflect in how much more boldly and confidently you communicate the truth of how much fun you may have with certain creative projects or doing what you love most, communicating the truth with other people, really just talking. This enables you to really express the nuances and levels and layers of communication and speech and pattern, where as a celestial king and or queen, words are merely your plaything with which you can craft magic for the masses. This will functionally and fundamentally enable you to also and intentfully create the landscape of this integration of your supernatural energy, indirectly linking how the supernatural quality of your advanced nature is reflected in your creative talents. You will see this directly in whatever creative projects you're working in, and it is a great period to create a new passion, hobby, or something you really love to communicate, love, or do. Pisces, Mercury will be transiting your fourth house as a Pisces rising, and it will be making a 90 to 120 degree angle from your sun and moon. This is going to help you process hidden information and inner truths that provide a bed and framework for the belief of what and who you are as a collective unconscious entity and representation of the connection of everything, non-sentient and sentient, the living, walking dream. Mercury begins to integrate and break through the ground the seeds you've sown since March and April, and puts you in a position to now wrap your speech patterns around the thoughts necessary in order to communicate and make intellectual sense of this dream. Beliefs with which were originally metaphysical and unseen, that you are now able to wrap your brain and vocabulary around to speak into reality, where it will begin to harvest in the earth grounded real Virgo sign, where they will become real. This will privately not only also expand and evolve your own home and inner space, giving you much to talk about how comfortable or uncomfortable you are in establishing new comfort zones, but also be put in a position to enhance how you're able to bring from the depths of your consciousness new ideas that you can, of course, integrate existing beliefs with. This definitely provides a great time to have introspective conversations with yourself and others that through such will provide epiphanies in order to move you forward. The beginning of the Mercury and Cancer transit will be conjuncting Venus, and we will get ready to apply this enlightened perspective that we updated our brain processing unit to in order to feel directly. Thoughts manifest feelings. What you think influences directly what you feel. And now that we have updated yearly in this cyclical journey of the vocabulary and thought process, we are going to apply that thought process towards what direction we feel in. Namely, we have finished drawing the lines. It's time to fill in those lines with color. In conclusion, Mercury in Gemini is not only going to update your verbal lexicon, but introduce you to an enhanced nature of your own ability to produce magical effects through your word and the brilliant new ways in which you will be thinking around this. It's almost as if you've updated a phone and it has so many cool new features that are unlike updates you've had in the previous years, and have now completely set a new generational precedent on aspects of your phone function that were previously not possible, but in light of new hardware, bring in a whole new era of discovery. You stay blessed as always. Peace.